Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're digging into a process that is so fundamental. It's literally the reason that nearly all life on our planet is even possible. And you know what? It's happening all around us, right now, in total silence.
Seriously, think about it. Everything you've ever eaten, that apple you had for a snack, the wheat that made your toast, even the cow that made the burger, it all traces its energy back to one place. And that's the most important chemical reaction on Earth. Photosynthesis.
So to really get it, you first have to understand life's most basic problem. See, on one side, you have the consumers, or heterotrophs. That's us. It's animals, fungi. We have to go out and find our food. We have to eat other things to get energy. But on the other side, you have the real stars of the show, the producers, or autotrophs. And right here, this is where it all begins. These incredible organisms, we're talking plants, algae, even some kinds of bacteria. They're the foundation. They don't need to eat, they make their own food. They're the first, most essential link in basically every food chain on the planet.
Okay, so let's zoom in and see where all the magic happens. For most plants, we're heading straight for the leaf. You can think of it as their own personal solar panel and food factory, all rolled into one. Now we're going even deeper into the microscopic world inside that leaf. It's filled with these specialized cells. And look, you can see they are jam-packed with these tiny green dots. Those little green structures, that's our final destination.
And here we are, we've arrived at the chloroplast. This is the microscopic engine room where the entire process of photosynthesis goes down. It's like a super advanced, self-contained little factory that runs entirely on sunlight.
So, inside this tiny factory, there are two key departments you need to know about. First, you've got the thylakoids. See those stacks of little green disks? That's where the solar energy gets captured. And second, you have the stroma. That's the thick fluid all around them, and that's where the energy will actually be used to build stuff.
And what does this incredible factory run on? Well, it's just three super simple ingredients. You've got water, which the plant sucks up through its roots. You have carbon dioxide, which it literally just pulls out of the air. And finally, you have sunlight, the power source, which gets captured by a special green pigment called chlorophyll. Now, photosynthesis isn't just one thing happening. It's actually a brilliant two-step recipe. You can think of it like this. Step one is all about capturing the sun's energy. We'll call that charging the batteries. And step two is about using that energy to make food. Let's call that building the sugar.
All right, let's dive into step one. The light-dependent reactions. This all happens in those thylakoid membranes we talked about. When sunlight hits chlorophyll, that energy is used to literally rip water molecules apart. Now, this does two amazing things. First, it releases oxygen as a waste product, which is kind of important for us, right? And second, it charges up two little energy carrier molecules called ATP and NADPH. Think of them as tiny, fully charged batteries ready to go. Okay, on to the second phase, which happens out in the stroma. This is the Calvin cycle. This is where the plant takes the power from those ATP and NADPH batteries and uses it to fuel a whole new set of reactions. It takes carbon dioxide from the air and chemically transforms it into a super useful high-energy 3-carbon sugar called G3P.
And this G3P molecule is amazing. It's the master building block. From this one simple sugar, the plant can make pretty much everything it needs to live and grow. It can make glucose for quick energy, it can make cellulose to build strong cell walls, it can make starch to store energy for later, and it can even make the basic parts for fats and proteins. It's the ultimate multitasker.
Now, what's really incredible is the molecular machine that drives this whole cycle. It's an enzyme called rubisco. Its job is to grab the carbon dioxide out of the air. But here's the catch. It's actually pretty slow. So to make up for it, plants make a ton of it. So much, in fact, that rubisco is believed to be the single most abundant protein on the entire planet.
Now, this standard process, which we call C3 photosynthesis, works great in nice, mild climates. But what about plants that have to survive in, say, the desert or in extreme heat? You see, if they open their pores to get CO2, they lose all their water. It's a huge problem. But, you know, nature always finds a way.
To survive, different plants have evolved some really clever hacks.
So while plants like wheat use that standard C3 pathway, you have C4 plants like corn. They use a special enzyme that's way more efficient at grabbing CO2 even in intense heat. And then you've got the real masters of survival, cam plants like cacti and pineapples. They only open their pores to collect CO2 at night when it's cool. Then they store it and make sugar during the day with their pores sealed shut. Genius. Okay, so we've been deep in the microscopic details. Now let's zoom all the way back out and look at the massive planet-wide impact of this one single chemical reaction.
So what happens when we mess with this global system? We know photosynthesis is our planet's main way of pulling carbon dioxide out of the air. But when we clear massive forests, we're hitting the planet with a devastating 1-2 punch. Not only are we releasing tons of stored carbon by burning the trees, but we're also destroying the very biological machines that absorb somewhere between 20 and 30% of our CO2 emissions every single year.
When you get right down to it, our world is literally built on photosynthesis. It's what gives us the oxygen on our atmosphere, it's what creates the food that sits at the bottom of every single food web, and it's a huge part of what keeps our climate stable. Our survival is, without a doubt, tied directly to the health of these little green factories.
Think about it. This process is basically a perfect form of solar technology. Nature figured out billions of years ago a recipe for turning sunlight, water, and air into fuel, with perfect efficiency and zero waste. And that leaves us with a pretty big question. As our own scientists race to develop things like artificial leaves to create clean energy, are we finally on the verge of learning how to copy nature's most brilliant recipe? Thanks for watching.